People often ask me, Kunal, if you could eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I wish I had an answer, but I don't. How can anyone choose? I mean, there's Rajma Chawal, the kind that's been slow cooked for hours, melting into this creamy, spiced gravy. Add a little achar on the side and you're in heaven. But wait, then there's Chole Bhature, right? That soft, pillowy bhatura that you tear apart, dipping it into thick, spicy chole and wow, and chaat. Oh my God, Indian chaat. The crunch of the papdi, the tang of tamarind chutney, the heat of green chilies, the endless variety of pani puri. It's chaos on a plate and it's perfect. And the best part is, it's available all year long. And don't even get me started on fine dining. I've had the pleasure of dining at some of the best Indian restaurants in this country and abroad. In fact, here's me enjoying a meal at Bungalow, a magical restaurant run by chef Vikas Khanna in New York City just a couple of weeks ago. And see how I'm not saying a single word? That's the telltale sign of great food. And for me, it's been a lifelong obsession. I've spent years exploring the kitchens, the streets and restaurants of India, marveling at just how much we can do with food. But today, I want to take you on a different journey, a journey that goes beyond our borders. How did Indian food, which we love so fiercely here at home, become a global phenomenon? How did it go from our mom's kitchens to Michelin-starred restaurants in New York, London, and Bangkok? Hello and welcome to A Century of Stories India, brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank, always you first. I'm Kunal Vijayakar, and today we're diving into a very special story close to my heart about the rise of Indian food as a global cuisine. The recognition of Indian food as an elevated, layered global cuisine wasn't so clean and easy. It came with many challenges. Anything foreign and unfamiliar is always viewed with suspicion, isn't it? And so was our immigrant Indian food. Would you believe it? Before it became recognized as being aromatic, rich and flavorful, Indian food was often seen as stinky, messy and heavy abroad. The stereotype was to bundle its vast, glorious range under the narrow term curry. So, before we go any further, let's first answer the question, what is diaspora cuisine? Well, diaspora cuisines come from the movement of people across the world. The migration of people is a tale as old as time. People have always moved from region to region to region for better opportunities, for safety, for exploration, and simply to pursue new interests. When a family moves to another country, it doesn't go alone. It takes with it family recipes, unwritten food practices, and even spice blends familiar to them. Do you also have NRI cousins who every time they visit India go back with a suitcase packed with Indian spices? I have, I'm sure you do as well. Diaspora cuisine is a warm, comforting reminder of home, but it also reflects an evolution of global food landscapes, the best of both worlds, or a synthesis of new traditions, you can say. Just like the newly launched #Made of India credit cards by IDFC FIRST Bank, Ashwa and Mayura are metal credit cards that are built with the same ethos of thinking global, yet being deeply rooted. This card is for the global Indian who travels across borders and carries their values and culture with them. The metal cards offer exceptionally low forex markup, exclusive airport lounge benefits, exceptional reward points on spends, and a lot more. Today, we're taking a quick look at the stories of 3 international Indian chefs on 3 different continents. America, Europe, and closer to home in Asia. These chefs made bold moves and took along with them the flavors most dear to them, the flavors of home. When Chef Vikas Khanna made his way from Amritsar to New York in the year 2000, the comfort of having his mom's parathas with him made the journey easier. Growing up, he'd witnessed the magic of food at the Golden Temple, where his grandmother would take him. The wealthiest Indians, even visitors from abroad, would enjoy simple dal, roti, and kada prasad in the simplest of settings. There was a sense of community. The food was at the center of it all. He fell in love with the feeling. And so, he decided to serve at the temple of the kitchen. He moved to New York and then Paris to pursue cooking. But despite feeling alienated as a person of color, he refused to relinquish his roots. At the end of 2010, he opened Junoon in New York with a small team. And within 9 months, he had his first Michelin star. The restaurant would go on to win this honor again for 7 consecutive years. You know what else was happening in the aughts? The rise of cooking competitions on TV, led by celebrity chefs. Shows like Top Chef and Master Chef were all the rage. They exposed audiences worldwide to cuisines beyond their own. Hence, authentic recipes started traveling to kitchens across the globe, and with that came a greater appreciation for Indian cuisine as well. Whether it was Padma Lakshmi's passionate talk of feisty Indian flavors on Top Chef, or Chef Vikas Khanna's rose tea smoked chicken dish appearing on MasterChef Australia, Indian cuisine didn't seem so unfamiliar anymore. By the way, it was around that time in 2001 that the chicken tikka masala was declared as the national dish of the UK. Which brings me to our next chef. Vineet Bhatia is not only a flag bearer of Indian cuisine, he has the distinction of being the first Indian chef to earn the Michelin star for his London restaurant Zyka in 2001. When he couldn't make it to the Indian Air Force, it was the discipline of the kitchen that attracted him. In culinary school, he was fascinated by the history and heritage of food cultures around the world. The innovator in him wanted to experiment, and that's what brought him to the UK in 1993. Vineet uses native ingredients to suit local tastes, but it's always Indian flavors at the heart of his food. Vineet Bhatia is known for blending traditional Indian flavors with modern techniques. It's no surprise that his signature dish, the Amritsari battered cod, is a unique mix of the Amritsari fish fry and the British fish and chips. Today, Vineet owns and operates many restaurants by the name Rasoi by Vineet Bhatia, not only in the UK, but across Europe and the Middle East. As a world-traveling chef, he says that home is where his kitchens are. Much like Vineet, our next chef mixes local ingredients with Indian techniques to create a one-of-a-kind taste, like drawing umami from vegetables or using tandoor and achar flavors in dishes like charcoal grilled pork ribs with a mango pickle glaze. I'm talking about Chef Garima Arora, the only Indian woman chef with a Michelin star. Inspired by her father's love for travel and food, she joined the Cordon Bleu Culinary School at the age of 22 and never looked back. After working at world-class restaurants in Europe, she felt a calling from home. It was at an unplanned pit stop in Bangkok that she felt the epiphany she'd been looking for. A unique synergy of various Southeast Asian flavors came bursting through and made her stay. And so in 2017, she opened Ga in Bangkok, which earned a Michelin star in 2018 for its modern Indian cuisine. In 2019, she was named the best female Asian chef. Garima's passion for our culinary heritage also comes through in Food Forward India, an exploration of what Indian food is. and a loving documentation of our many traditions. This is the thing about Indian food. It's not just food, it's love. It's nostalgia, it's comfort, it's what we turn to when we're celebrating and when we're healing. It's a big, warm hug on a plate. Chefs like Vikas, Vineet and Garima are global cultural ambassadors of the Indian identity. Through their mastery, they've put India on the culinary map and created a brave new world where Indian food is comfort food for everyone. You are watching A Century of Stories India, brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank. Always you first. And in the next episode, I'll be bringing you yet another story from India. You think finance is complicated? It doesn't have to be. And many people avoid learning about money because it feels overwhelming. That's why IDFC First Academy makes financial education simple and accessible with easy to understand courses, videos, and quizzes, all designed for everyone. Whether you're learning about personal finance, banking, or digital payments, IDFC First Academy breaks it down step by step. Start your financial learning journey today by visiting idfcfirstacademy.com.
IVM